That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's New Year's Eve, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand. Podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, including another one on this program, but this one can't wait until this year is over so we can start reviewing Season 10. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt and the very festive Victor, and joining us this week, they are the podcasting power couple. He co-hosts PodScure and Disputed Pod. She co-hosts Boondocks Podcast, which she produces, and they both co-host How Are You Now podcast, the toughest podcast in Letterkenny. Please join me in making some noise for Tiara and Dean Giles.
Wondrous.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome. This is exciting to have both you guys on.
I love it.
It's about time. Welcome, Tiara and Dean, not Wayne. I'm going to try not to call you Wayne. I don't know. I'm having word salad today.
Sick, figured out.
I know.
One job, Al.
Yeah. Here we go.
How are you now?
Tonight's lineup is going to be Matt, Al, Victor, Tanya, Tiara, and Dean. So first of all, Matt, how are you now?
Wow, I get to go first.
Yes.
It's always so much pressure.
Mhm.
I'm happy to be back. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
welcome
I missed the
back.
egg. Holy fuck. I have had a rough few weeks, to say the least.
Mhm.
I'm still not 100%. I mean, for those following along, I've been a little sick. I made it to our Billy Buttery interview barely.
Buttery.
Buttery.
Not Buttery.
Interview. Well, okay.
Smooth.
Here we go now. And
I just don't want to insult the man. I want to get the name right.
Fair enough. It's my problem. I'll figure it. That's a Matt problem.
Yeah.
And then I kind of crashed after that, and it's been rough. It's not COVID. I got tested and all that just to be on the safe side, but I caught some wicked cold that circulated through the whole house about twice now.
Oh.
And I had an ear infection because I'm 6 years old still. And I don't know, like, who the hell gets an ear infection? I'm still paying for it. I still can't fully hear it in my left ear.
Jeez.
So that's fun. Oh, it's been rough, man, but I'm feeling better. I'm excited to be here. Christmas was as well as it could be under the circumstances. I know even Christmas morning we got up, I made it through presents, and then I crashed for a few hours because I just couldn't do it. And been bouncing back ever since, but making the best of it, and just really happy. And I'm really sad I missed the egg haul.
Mhm.
Like those, I mean, you guys know I love those. They're so much fun.
Mhm.
And I listened to it back fully. For those who didn't, I think Chad called me out saying I wasn't going to listen to it.
Mhm.
I listened to it. Took me 4 days to listen to it because it's a marathon, but it was fantastic. And I'm always blown away by those episodes and our listeners and the big turnouts. And I felt so horrible. I missed all the new folks who came out. I know there was like 5 or 6 people who had never, maybe I don't remember exactly how many, but there was quite a few people who hadn't joined us before. And I was really looking forward to meeting everyone. I hope you all come back out and join us on the next one, because I'd love to be there and actually be there this time. So yeah. And I appreciate all the friendly razzing. I know I called for it, and you guys didn't let down. I think almost every one of you took a shot at me, you degens. And that's okay. That's okay. They were all very, very welcomed shots. I laughed at every single one of them, you know.
Well, the D and DM group does not stand for direct. It stands for DGen. So,
It's amazing. So anyways, we're here, we're back. I'm so happy that Tiara and Dean are here, or Wayne are here. And, it's going to be a fun night. So let's pitter patter.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll be quick with mine. I mean, this week's we've been off this week. So, it's been quiet. I mean, we spent Christmas with my parents. It was Christmas Eve with my parents, Christmas Day with our Tanya's parents. And then we went up to Tanya's sister for a couple of days up near Horseshoe Valley. Had a, nice, pleasant, quiet time. Our New Year's Eve plans have all been canceled because of this fucking Omicron. And we're just going to keep it.
Fucking Transformers.
Yeah, I know, right? Keep it small. Keep it quiet this year and keep it classy. And hopefully, we'll have a big bash next year. So nothing. Can't think of anything else. We watched that Lucy, the Being Ricardo's movie on Prime. It was pretty good.
I watched the first half of it. I haven't finished it yet, but
I mean, I would never have picked what's her name to play Lucy, but she did a pretty good job. Yeah.
well, as far as the dramatic part of it, yeah, I thought she did a great job. I mean, and one of the arguments that I heard about what's her name from Will and Grace, because she'd spot on.
Oh, she would have been perfect. Like Deborah Messing, yeah.
Yeah, but the argument that I heard was that if it was a comedy, she would be perfect for it.
Right. Yeah. She's kind of a modern Lucille Ball, I guess. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was good. It was a good story, and then it's like it got us on a YouTube rabbit hole to learn more about that relationship, because it's what many people don't know is that Lucy and Desi, they're responsible for the Hollywood system of royalties. Like Hollywood actors owe everything to Lucy and Desi, because they're the ones who they broke the studio system, and they made sure that actors got paid properly and royalties going forward and stuff in perpetuity. Because what they basically did that was trailblazing is they bought their film. They owned their own film. So all those episodes were theirs, and they made all the money off of it. It wasn't a studio that made the money. So it was interesting. It was well done. It was a well done, I thought, movie. Victor, you got the train wreck going there. How are you doing?
Oh man, you know what? I'm off this week as well, and the holidays have been fine and good. We had Christmas and fun and laughter and stuff like that. This morning I woke up and I couldn't move my neck.
Oh no.
I've got a pinched nerve, and it's still not let up yet. It's happened to me twice in my life before, once when I was in Vegas, and lots of fun stories to talk about that one.
But Vegas stays in Vegas.
It was some special moves you used that night.
And then it happened randomly, just maybe around 10 years ago, and it happened. We just woke up with a pinch in my. I can only turn my head one way.
Oh, jeez.
So I almost kind of thought about it. Should I even do this? And I figured, I guess I can. There's nothing wrong with my voice. I can talk. I just can't move my neck.
There'll be no blue steel tonight.
No. So we won't be asking you to react, by nodding or by shaking your head.
But there you go. I did. We did start watching an older show during this time, which we kept putting off for a long time just because it's so slow. But oh my goodness, it's so good. It's Mr. Robot.
I wanted to see that, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's a very slow burn, like a very slow burn. But we're in, I think, a final 2 episodes of season 2 right now, and there's 4 seasons altogether. So very slow burn. But if you are not, make sure you watch it when you're not tired. Otherwise, you could fall asleep during an episode.
You're really selling us on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and
I'm just saying it's really good.
Don't be tired.
It's not one where it's not one of those shows where you can just kind of put your brain on a shelf and be on your phone. But
you have to pay attention.
You got to be into it. But it's really good. I have nothing negative to say about it. It's really, really good.
I'm a fan of the actors, so yeah, it was one of those that I've had on my list for sure to check out.
Yeah.
10.
I apologize now because I will have word salad. I am.
We can't both have word salad.
No.
We've got the script on our side, so we need. If I mess up, you need to say, "Hey."
I had a rough sleep last night and woke up then even earlier this morning. So I'm a little bit sleep deprived and just off on my game. But I'm so looking forward to saying bye to 2021 and our New Year's Eve. There was some good parts, but goodness gracious, there's been a lot of rough parts this year. And I just want to bring on the new year and get over this whole new wave that we're on and get on to some happy.
Yeah, I hated new wave the first time it hit us in the 80s.
But you know what? The one fun thing that has worked in 2021 and that takes me away from all the crap that's going on in the world is this. This is my one escape and I'm so grateful for it. And I won't bore you with my shit. It's just great to be here tonight for sure.
Awesome. Now, Tiara, Welcome to the produce stand.
Yay.
For the first time.
About damn time,
Yes.
Jeff.
So super excited.
I know. It's not my fault that you guys keep picking days when I'm already drinking or like I've got some assignment due or something. Like it's been something every time.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're working on a PhD or something or
Master's in clinical psychology.
Master's?
Oh my God, girl. Woo.
Yeah.
So don't start like
it's a great time to do it right now when I have like very little mental health, but whatever.
No.
You'll get a job right out the gate for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I want to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
This is my third career that I am embarking on, and I don't want to work for anybody ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you were a teacher before.
Yep.
And so that was your second career. What was the first career? Roller girl.
So no, definitely no money in that.
Oh.
I was basically a preschool teacher for 20 years, and then worked in elementary, which you wouldn't think that it's that much different, but it's so much different, especially because I went from working with primarily kids, maybe on the autism spectrum, maybe had, some physical limitations, some more of mild to moderate special ed. And then I started working with primarily traumatized and abused kids. So I had a lot of behavior disorders and that sort of thing. And that's actually what got me to like realize that I actually hated teaching. The part that I loved doing was
the helping,
the trauma work, right. And the like getting the kids to learn how to trust an adult in their life. And for most of my kids, I was like the first positive Black role model that they had. Because, to be absolutely fair about it, Seattle, Seattle is right. To be fair, Seattle is changing a lot of the way they work with those kids, but it's still so far behind what really needs to be done. And there's so little that I could do as a teacher. And then when COVID hit, like literally, I had one student that I couldn't find for 6 months because they were in foster care and transitioned to another home. And we never got any paperwork from them. And like eventually I had to track them down in another city and like show up at their door with, "Hi, I still am your teacher and I still love you. And this is what we're trying to do." And so, yeah, quitting teaching was the smartest thing I ever did for my mental health. I still miss my kids, but a lot of the parents keep in touch with me. Good. And then, of course, we moved. So,
yeah, well, that's the big change right now. You guys just moved in, right? Just settling in.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Wow.
We got into house on Christmas Eve.
Keep it interesting, right?
Yeah.
Do not recommend.
Do not recommend. Especially not if you live somewhere. Well, I guess technically it hasn't snowed in this area on Christmas in like a decade. But of course, this year
it snowed.
I am so glad we left Seattle, though, because they have like 7 inches and we have like 3/4 of an inch, maybe.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very happy not to be in Seattle right now.
Well, I mean, congrats on the move. And I know it's something you guys have been looking forward to all year. And it's finally happened. I know it wasn't an easy transition. Dean, how have you been?
He had to stay in Seattle while I was like here in a rental.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I'm just glad it's over. I'm putting all that shit behind me now. Time to move forward. So, yeah, it's. I've just been trying to focus on getting all this set up. It's got my brain into something that I enjoy instead of lifting things and falling down and hurting myself and. Yeah, not pleasant. So yeah, getting this all back up and running has helped my mental health a bit. But that's really it right now. It's been moving and trying to get this all set back up.
Well, it looks like you're busy.
It's probably been it's probably the longest stretch without podcasting, in quite some time
since we started. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, there was a time after we got started that I had. I had a really bad mental breakdown, and I was just out for like I felt like 6 months. I don't know if it was that long or not, but
I don't think so.
It felt.
But yeah, that was when we were only doing Letterkenny and PodScure.
Yeah.
And then basically PodScure is what suffered the most.
Yeah. And then and then Tiara's like, you really need to get back to doing How Are You Now, because we're getting a lot of followers. I'm like, what?
Because that was back, when I don't know what season that was, like 7 and 8.
No, it was probably like
6,
more.
5?
No, it was earlier than that.
I don't
it was
know.
probably like 3 or 4.
You would know.
It was probably like season 3 or 4.
Well, so have you guys watched season 10? We've all made a pact here, even though Matt and Victor have already broken that pact. That we haven't watched season 10. Have you?
Oh, we watched.
We watched once through, which means next week, I think. Next week?
Next week? No, it's week after next.
So when we start on How Are You Now again, which is the second week of January, we will probably start with that episode 1 and watch it like 15 times.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we're gonna
we've watched it all the way through.
We're gonna be lined. Well, we'll be a week ahead of you this time for once, for the first time.
Flip the script, y'all.
Yeah, flip the script. How do you like that?
Because we were a year and a half ahead of you. It's fine.
Who's counting, right?
Yeah. You guys had the luck of like getting to a point where the new season is happening right when you're finishing the last season.
I know.
For us,
I wish
then we're all fucked until July.
I know, right? I wish I could say it was planned this way and that I'm a genius and stuff, but of course, no. This is all dumb luck. But you know what? Like, we have this, and then we gotta riff for a few weeks or maybe a month or so before Shoresy starts, and then we'll have Shoresy to tide us over until who knows when season 11 will pick up. Hopefully in this summer. Hopefully, like they usually do. But we'll see.
Will you guys be doing a Shoresy review on yours as well?
That's the plan.
I actually thought that because I was telling Dean, I thought you guys should like.
Right, I remember that.
We were trying to think of something. Yeah, we'll take that offline because we should try to figure something out. But I mean, the thing is, I want to keep our feed alive, and I'm sure you want to keep your feed alive. So we'll have to do something where we can both put something out and then maybe get together. Maybe we can do something like that. But for sure, we should definitely do something. All right. So I mean, go ahead.
And while I'm here, since you've been so kind to have us on your recap show, how would you like to be on our recap show when we do season 10?
Absolutely. Yes, we'd love it. Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's just this is like a podcast key party. We'll just
podcast key party.
Podcastery.
There you go. Poly pottery.
This community is just so much fucking fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's get real. I love it.
Yeah. There's no competition here. Anyway.
Now what was brought up before we started all this is that we should do a fuck fight FERDA.
Yes, I saw that, and we will. We will.
I mean, because I could do a.
Yes. We'll get to that after the recap. We'll make some time for that, and I'll give you the reins.
Making sure there was consent.
Yes, that definitely needs to be consent for sure. All right, I know it's late, but 10, you said you're really tired. Do you need a coffee?
Yes.
But Victor, do you need a coffee?
I'd have a coffee.
How about you, Matt?
I am so surprised we're not having coffee right now.
Great, because as you know, Diabolical coffee is not being served at the produce stand. It is devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag, and there's a roast for all tastes and even some you didn't know you wanted. Yes, I said tastes. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind and espresso. If you're like Tanya and me, there's a K-Cup option for single cup brewers, and for the duration of season 9, which ends today, but also for season 10, Diabolical coffee is staying with us, and you can use the promo code Produce Stand for 10% off anything in the store. That's 10% off all coffee and merch. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee, for your support. Thank you, Eric. And speaking of support, I mean, okay, this is crazy. We've got 401 Twitter followers that I haven't read off. I'm obviously not going to do them all. I'm just going to try to put a dent into it. I'm just going to do a few here. So welcome to
the fastest talking guy in the world.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
We need McCooey.
Get Dickens in here.
Dickens.
Yeah, Jim Dickens.
Welcome to Sam, Mike the Hermit from Minnesota, Adam from Kansas City, Beach Dreamer from Kansas, Big Ben, Alyssa Brooke, Amy, Michelle from North Carolina, Dave O, Dawson from Tampa, Florida, allegedly. I wonder who that is. Not Judd Nelson from Austin, Texas. Blake, son of Godzilla, apologist from Ted Barge. Dialec's fat ass agenda from Weenie Hut General. I don't know. Brett Wiseman from Old Sport, Madison, Indiana. Lily's, what's this? Lilizer. Chill Zone from New Orleans. Jess L from Big Bear. Gilbert, Arizona. Strange Funk. Lucia B. Jay Paskey from Lodi, Wisconsin, the Water Boatman from The Void, Joe McDermott from right here, Brian Fraser from Gainesville, Georgia, Kimberly Contreras from Leominster, where is it?
Massachusetts.
Randall Dean, Lex from Alberta, Jeff Welty from Ontario, Ohio, Kim Rennie from Burlington, Ontario, Hannah from Sacramento, California, Ron Goldberg, Samantha Danley, Sonia from Texas, but not a Texan, Kevin Keene from Dieselland, Dave Alexander from rural Texas, Zero Kevin from South Jersey, Patrick Shefsky, maybe Amy from Tennessee, the night-tailed, the night-tailed gin. I can't read
this.
This
is going well.
I know. Dozer from Seabus, Ohio. Bill Chestnut from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Lars Londet. Justin Wechsler from Allentown, Pennsylvania. QWERTY, whatever, from DC. Kyle O'Connor. Andy D. Chris Hull from Pierre, South Dakota. Mando Spando from Whitman,
Massachusetts,
and Mayor from Letterkenny. And that's where I'm going to stop there. That was 50. Sorry about that, guys.
That was 50? Wow.
But if I didn't do that, we would be here.
And Tiara, I think you looked a little confused when you played the Massachusetts recording because Al can't actually say that. So
allegedly,
I realized that the second time. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like a dairy thing.
Yeah. Is that Al's breakfast?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so thank you all for following and hopefully for listening.
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week we held our end of season Ag Hall Social. It was a great time that ended in a drunken mess, as most great times do. And this week we recap and review season 9 with our buddy Dean and Tiara. So welcome, guys. I'm not going to ask you if you did your homework because, well, we're all here today. So of course you have. So we're going to start with episode 1, American Buck and Doe. Our guest panelist for that episode was a gentleman named Jason Eichert. And just to remind you what it was about, here's the limerick.
It's season 9 and Katie's rapping. The gang got Dirks, but they're not done scrapping. They took care of Juice Head, then party with Jaker, who said spies are using titties for dental tracking.
So in that one there,
good.
We really wanted to know about the conspiracy theory around the penile implants. And luckily our guest was a former military. So we asked him, okay, Jason, as a former member of the military, first of all, do you have an implant?
I don't know. They could have done it when I was in dental surgery and knocked out.
I just want to know, was that ever a conspiracy that you heard on any of the military bases?
No, it's honestly what they were doing the entire time was fucking with them. Because that's what we do.
Okay.
We fuck with people outside the military. We will fuck with you all day long and tell you some random conspiracy theory story.
So there you go. I mean,
we not only fuck with people outside of the military, we fuck with people inside of the military.
I was just going to say, Dean, you're also former military.
Yeah. If you're a newbie, especially if you're a newbie, we're fucking with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we need Tiara though to just attest that there is no penile implant, or do you?
I mean, it's been 15 years. I feel like I would have discovered it by now.
Or he's just got really good dental records on you. Then.
He did have one tooth pulled recently. Maybe that was what it was.
Oh, there you go.
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens. So that
Dickens.
Well done.
But I don't have a rim shot. Do you have a rim shot?
Oh, actually,
that's what she said.
Hang on. Where's my damn?
There it is.
There it is.
A little weak, but we'll take it.
All right. That episode got a fresh from Matt, Tanya, and Jason, and a clearance from Victor and myself. And Twitter was basically 2/3 gave it fresh and 1/3 gave it a clearance. There were no composts. So let's start. Who should we start with? Tiara, would you like to start us off? What would you give that episode?
You're gonna have to explain your rating.
Oh, okay. System. Sorry. Yeah, I guess I should. So our rating. So it's a 3-point scale. Fresh means it was really good. Clearance clearance means it was okay. There was nothing wrong with it, but nothing great about it. And compost means it's bad. So just like produce, you have fresh, clearance, or compost.
And we're rating it again within the Letterkenny universe, right? So
right.
Compared to other Letterkenny episodes, what would you give this? We can start with Dean if it'll make you feel more confident about it. Okay, Dean, what would you give this one?
I gave it a fresh. I mean, the whole thing with the roid head guy at the very beginning, who is also who also plays a character in the TV show What We Do in the Shadows, and he's hilarious in that too. But yeah, I give it a fresh. That and all of them having their shirts off while at the buck and dough. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, I think it was a good start. And then Katie's rap was great.
Yeah, Katie's rap was epic.
That's right.
We loved Katie's rap.
Bomb.
All right, so Tiara and I have an idea of how we're kind of ranking these. What would you give this one?
I would give this one a fresh. The back and forth again with the Roy dude. It's one of my favorite.
The balloon animals.
Ever.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Also, Katie going Scorched Earth. Always a good time. So yeah, fresh.
All right, cool. Let's see here. For MVPs, Matt gave it to Katie for that one. I gave it to Jonesy for the visual of helping with showing how he would lick a titty. Victor gave it to Squirrely Dan. Tanya and Jason both gave it to Katie. Dean, who would you give the MVP in this episode to?
The American military.
Really?
America of you.
Yeah.
The American cousins.
America.
Fuck yeah.
By the way, the guy who plays Jakers also was in what was that? Travelers.
Yeah.
Excellent show. I know it got canceled. It was on Netflix, but it was a really, really good show. So yeah, the guy that plays Jaker was also
one of the main characters.
Really good.
And
okay, I'll have to check that out. So the American military.
That was when I accidentally got him hooked on.
Oh yeah. Very cool.
You know, when you're watching 5 million shows during the pandemic and suddenly I've actually watched 5 episodes in a row and
it's easy. Yeah. Well, especially when you don't have kids. Unfortunately, I can't binge as much because we've got kids going, play with me.
I know every single word though of many Disney movies.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I was a preschool teacher for 20 years. I quit shortly after Let It Go came out for a reason.
We made it through both of our kids without Disney ever being part of our lives.
You're a lucky man. You're a lucky man.
Wow.
I mean, I'm still daily walking around the house singing Paw Patrol.
Yeah, but you probably brought them up on like depressing Russian style Disney, didn't you? Like,
No, we did have the communist Winnie the Pooh.
Yes,
which is great fun. We had Carlson, который живет на крыше, which is a little fat man that lives on the roof that always gets the little poor militia in trouble. This is an Astrid Lindgren, by the way, story, which nobody knows about in North America, which is a shame. And of course, we had every single video cassette and then later DVD of the Wiggles, but the original. But Wiggles, the original.
Yeah. Yummy. Fruit salad for sure.
We like to role play as Captain Featherstone.
and who plays Dorothy the dinosaur?
Oh boy.
Oh my God. Wiggle.
Yeah, no comment there from Tiara. Wiggle. All right. I would just be what was his name? The one who kept on falling asleep. Jeff.
That was
Jeff.
Sam.
Yeah,
No,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Jeff fell asleep. Yeah, that was back
later.
I don't actually remember. I remember what family I was working with the most during that time period. But for the life of me, I just remember the fruit salad song and one of the dudes ended up having cancer and had to like leave. Yeah. And like the kid I worked with was freaking out because there was someone new wearing the yellow shirt.
Oh, I know. They made a big deal out of it. Yeah, it was interesting.
Did you tell the kid it was because they didn't watch enough and the guy died?
No, because
it had a heart condition. Goddamn you.
If she did that would make her bad at her job, Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had a wooden Wiggles toddler bed for our son.
Yeah.
Because he was huge into Wiggles. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It was a big thing here. We even had coloring books and stuff.
And you know what? Yeah. I didn't mind because when I saw the alternatives, Barney the dinosaur and some of the others.
The Wiggles had the best music.
Yeah, the Wiggles actually had good music, so I didn't mind it.
I like Lazy Town.
Lazy Town? I don't remember.
You know, I just like the memes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the memes are good. The memes are hilarious.
Yeah.
What is Lazy Town?
It's a kid show about, you know, it's kind of like being a good citizen and getting your exercise and being healthy and stuff like that. Then there's this one bad guy, can't remember his name.
He just sneaks around and looks evil.
Yeah.
But so
What's it called?
So is it named Lazy ironically?
Lazy Town. Yeah.
Lazy Town.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
Oh God, I could give you so many better recommendations though.
It's like there are 3 actual human characters and everybody else is a puppet in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Sounds a little lazy.
Tiara, if you were to give an MVP for episode 1, can you think of one?
I'm going to say Katie.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few times when I have ever like wanted to be that character, but I think it would be a lot of fun to be that confident and that badass and that angry.
Yeah.
And to be able to do something about it.
Yeah.
That was one of the most powerful scenes in the whole series.
Yeah, that was great.
And there was no question. It was her MVP in that episode.
All right.
She's not even my favorite character, so that made me even better. It made it even better for me.
Cool. We're going to move on to Kids with Problems, also known as Tiara's job.
Yeah. Oh man, if the kids that I worked with had the problems of the kids in Letterkenny, I would be out of a job.
Oh,
honestly.
You wish they were. You wish they had those problems.
Even with all the schneef?
All the schneef.
Aren't they schneefing things?
No, that's just Derry and Squirrely Dan with the schneef.
Oh, I thought the kids were schneefing candy or something.
Dick Dingers.
Didn't they get the? I don't know.
No, not Dick Dingers.
I think there was something about candy.
Candy and
Fun dip dry rips or something like that.
Yes, something like that.
Fun dip Dick Dingers.
Yes. Oh man, that's a different kind of problem. Anyway, our guest for that episode was Mr. Justin Trollinger, and just to remind you guys what happened in that one, here's a limerick.
The Letterkenny kids are driving everyone mad. So the Hicks come up with a scheme ironclad to get the little shits to stop with hot dogs, chips, and pop. But the Hicks come to realize that they're just as bad.
So in this one here, let's see. Tanya's had many great moments on this podcast today, but this is probably her greatest moment.
Do we know yet how Barb died?
I don't think so. And I think there's like a lot of speculation whether she's dead at all or whether she just didn't run off. Like,
well, does she ever exist?
Or maybe it's one of those Sixth Sense things where maybe she's a mannequin in his. I have
an idea. I think that maybe she developed like a protein allergy to his semen. And her spraying him spraying her so much, like
she got Heather in the back now.
She's like, she just got sprayed one too many times by him. Like I think that's how she died. So that.
Oh man, just to set the scene, Trollinger, who's our guest, he's on, but his wife's in the background working on these ornaments, and she's listening to our conversation, and obviously out of context, that kind of doesn't, she gave the side eye. She's like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
I mean, I have to be honest. My theory is probably a little more dark than that. Mm-hmm. Like I think that Barb died, and he still has her in the back room, and that's why like nobody ever goes in his house, and like he kind of like I think Psycho. He went psycho. Yeah, I think he's got Barb.
Yeah.
Back in.
Is she stuffed? Is she like taxidermied or something?
She's taxidermied
like,
for sure.
She's like mummified.
Taxibarbied.
He's going like Walking Dead styles.
Oh man, yeah.
Cut her locked in a room.
Like Psycho, like Norman Bates' mother.
Governor styles.
Wow, that is dark.
That's
good theory, but dark.
I watch too much horror.
He's always watching them true crime shows.
True crime is different from horror.
Mm-hmm. Did you see?
True crime is like psychology.
Did you see Teo Horn's tweet today? She listens to true crime podcasts as well, and she was like asking podcasters about a certain person. She's like, "Can somebody please do a podcast about this person?" She totally listened to it. Yeah, so yeah, you're not the only.
I think there must be like a thread or something, because I saw her talking about it the other day. Mm-hmm. I didn't see it today. I haven't really been on Twitter today much.
Oh, I don't know if it was today. I saw it today, but it could have been yesterday or something. Anyway, that episode there got a fresh from Tanya, Matt, and myself, and a clearance from Victor and Justin. Dean, what do you give this one?
I give it fresh.
Of course.
Fresh. So fresh.
And Tiara?
So clean.
I'm going to give it a clearance.
Really?
Nice.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm not kidding. If the kids with problems that I worked with, like if the worst thing was smacking an ass and like, yeah, no.
Mailboxes and yeah.
But right. And also it's the exact same shit that they did when they were, and some of them still do. And so it's like, I loved the ironicness of it. And like, I loved the realization that they are actually kind of part of D-Gen too. But just, from my unfortunate point of view, it's like, oh, those are the problems that they have. That's sweet.
Yeah.
How cute.
I totally related to Derry's presentations. Like, oh, you can get your ticket for AC, or you can get your ticket for electric, or you can just drive truck. Because that was my fallback. My fallback was driving truck. If everything else failed, that's what I was going to do. Yeah. Let's see. MVPs. Well, Tanya. Tanya's MVP for this one was Barb. Because she took a bunch for the team.
She took a lot for the team.
Matt's MVP was Coach because he was just hilarious in this episode. Mine was Wayne because I thought he was hilarious in his whole presentation. And Victor's was Riley and Jonesy. Justin gave it to Squirrely Dan. Let's see, Dean, who do you give this to?
Oh man, you guys just left out Ma Hutchins. and come on,
the cold open. I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah, the whistle.
I forgot about the whistle.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
How can you forget Ma Hutchins? She's just birthing them.
I just remember the conversation that we had on our show about that and how uncomfortable.
Oh, I was your guest on that one because I remember I had my beer bottle. I'm like, would it sound like this?
Yes. We talked about that there would be hair that wasn't accounted
That's
for.
right. Yeah.
Oh my.
That's right.
I forgot I was your guest on that one.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me.
So Dean's MVP is Ma Hutchins. What about you there, Tiara?
I'm gonna say Wayne because he wanted so badly to be a good role model and then realized that he was.
Well, he was a role model.
All of the things that he was trying to get them to stop doing.
Yeah. I love how he was trying to act like he was their contemporary. He was but he wasn't. He was, to them, he was already an old guy. So it was kind of funny. Let's see, episode 3, Scorched Earth. Our guest for that one was our friend Crystal, and here's a reminder of what that episode was.
Katie's dating and going scorched earth. Meanwhile, Dickens is causing Gail great mirth. The rumor mill churns as everyone learns from Glenn about Dickens' girth.
That one there. Victor. Hey, kudos for having so many earth rhymes there. All right. Victor gives his.
You do a fantastic job in those limericks, man. I know I read them, but you write the hell out of those things.
Victor gives his impression of this episode and of former Pastor Glenn.
So all I could think about was Matt in his nutsack. So there you go. But that aside, it was a super fun episode. Glenn has basically said goodbye to his, I guess, pasteurization. Is that what we're?
I don't think that's accurate.
He's pasteurized.
That's funny.
But anyway, he was so much fun. I love this episode.
Yeah,
so good.
I figured. Tan, what did you think?
He's pasteurized. Oh my god, Victor.
So that episode nearly became a unicorn. Victor, Tanya, myself, and Crystal gave it a fresh, and Matt was the only poo-pooer that gave it a clearance.
For fuck's sake.
I know, right? And Twitter
Give your
agreed.
balls a tug.
Twitter agreed with us. 77.3% gave it fresh. 22.2 or 0.7 gave it clearance. No compost. So let's start with you this time, Tiara. What would you give this one?
I'm going to give that one fresh because it's really nice to finally see Gail getting something more than what she, it always bothered me that she was always the one chasing, and it was really nice that she was getting it regularly enough that she was just like, whatever, it's all good. You can talk about it.
She wasn't gyrating quite as much.
Brought her powers.
Yeah, yes. Awesome. Dean, what do you give this?
Fresh.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the Katie going through them. If you smell gamey, you ain't gonna lay me. She's coming back with them. The summer teeth,
summer in your mouth, summer out of your mouth.
Yeah. So yeah, there was lots of good plays on words and that, and so yeah, it was a really good episode.
Awesome. Let's move on to MVPs here. Victor gave it to Glenn. So did Tanya. So did. Victor and Tanya gave it to Glenn. Matt gave it, and myself gave it to Gail, and Crystal gave it to Dickens. So, Tiara, who do you give the MVP to on this one?
I keep going back and forth, but I'm going to go with Gail because I feel like she's the real winner in the whole situation.
Definitely, yes. She didn't sway it quite as much in this one. I think she was a little tired out or something.
She's getting a little bit of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Little toe curling on the regular.
Yeah. Dean, how about you?
Roldy. Because he was sticking up for Stuart and his penis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Being a good friend.
Yeah, he's got Stuart's back and front. So.
Very good. All right, moving on. Episode 4, Mitzvah, and our guest panelist. Who else? Awesome. Thank God she was here for that one because we would have been lost without her. Here's the limerick for that one.
The Hicks are one hungover bunch. They're hungry, but it's too early for lunch. Goldstein gives the hockey twits a lesson on performing a mitzvah, while the Hicks go to Modine's for brunch.
So that one there, Victor once again gives his impression. Oh no, that's the wrong. What?
Wow.
Sorry, I've got the wrong thing here.
Copy and paste too many times.
No, here we go. Thankfully, we had awesome for this episode because we learned a ton. Like, did you know that a group of Jews was a minion? Anyway, we had awesome answer the biggest question that was on everybody's mind. All right, before I move on. Awesome. Is this true about day camp?
Okay, listen.
That is the question.
Yes,
oh my God.
That's the question.
Yes,
Fair
sleepaway
question.
camp is a big fucking deal in Jewish culture, especially Jewish American culture.
That's not why I'm asking.
We do summer sleepaway camp.
And
she's dodging the question.
She's dodging the question.
And I'm not going to dignify the question.
Thank you. Good.
Fine.
But it's true.
I'm like Jonesy. I'm here to learn.
Yeah, you're here to learn about blowies.
Exactly. What's that, Victor? Were you?
I did summer sleepaway camp.
Did you learn how to get
sleepaway camp? But I never got any such awakenings.
Instruction. All right. That one there got a fresh from Tanya and Awesome.
Awakenings.
I'm not going to talk about my church camp experiences.
Oh, you had the sleepaway camp as well?
Oh, yeah. Basically, the first everything was church camp.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of illegal substances, too. It was great.
Wow. See?
Sounds very churchly.
Send the kids to Bible school, she says. No fucking way. Are you kidding
They'll
me?
learn lots, they say.
Yeah, well, they will.
Yes, fucking way.
I learned how to hide being high from adults.
Oh, man.
Among a lot of other things. Anyway.
All right. That one got a fresh from Tanya and Awesome and a clearance from myself, Victor, and Matt. Twitter was, they basically gave it 68.2% gave it fresh, 27.3% a clearance. And for some reason, somebody gave it a compost. I don't understand that. Let's start with Tiara again. What do you give this one?
I'm going to give that one a fresh. It was fun.
Yeah.
I learned a lot now, and I honestly learned a lot. And thank God we had Awesome.
We had a surprise guest on that episode.
Oh, that's right. You had the writer, right?
We had
and he played Avi as well. So
that was fun.
Yeah, Renee apparently knew him from his YouTube thing that he's got going on.
That's right. Matt had said he's got some kind of food YouTube channel or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Dean, what do you give this one?
Fresh.
All right.
Fresh.
And now it's MVPs we had. I gave it to Riley and Jonesy. Victor gave it to Connor and Darian. Tanya gave it to Riley and Jonesy. Matt gave it to Connor and Darian, and Awesome gave it to Avi or AV or.
Is that the one with the train and they were filling the train with Snape?
The train rips.
Oh yeah,
that was such a great scene.
So that's probably why Victor gave it to them. So
that
Tiara,
took a lot of dexterity.
Yes,
is what I'm going to tell you.
Who would you give your MVP to, Tiara?
I'm going to give it to Avi for being so into his Jewishness that he felt like he needed to share it because that's part of the mitzvah, right?
Yeah.
To share that information.
Yeah. Good job. Dean?
I give it to Ellen because come on, Ellen and Gail together in the same fucking room.
That cold open.
Come on.
And Gail was so uncomfortable. It was awesome.
Wayne and Rosie were uncomfortable once.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say Gail uncomfortable, I mean she probably had to go in the back room.
Oh, I see.
So
she was juiced up.
Just to relieve herself. Yes. All right. Episode 5, Sleepover. Our guest for that one was the slightly inebriated Chad. And here is the limerick for that one.
I love drunk Chad.
It's a night of cold and winter flurries. To stay warm, Letterkennyans all hurry. Indoors where they keep, and either they fall asleep or
take a run at Bonnie McMurray.
So it felt like we were on our way to our first unicorn of season 9. But then Victor happened. Victor, what did you think?
To me, it felt like the episode would never end.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You need to watch this again on a good night's sleep.
It went on and on.
Oh, no.
You know, okay. So first, the artistic elements. Mm-hmm. I agree. Actually, I thought that I liked it. I liked that even during the cold open, even though that dragged on forever, there was some good camera work and interesting shots. I liked the montage. That was certainly good. And even like the end, I love the music at the end. Mm-hmm. So all the artistic elements were great. Mm-hmm. Probably the best shot of the episode was the intermission. But
wow, shots fired.
Come on.
Holy crap.
But
right.
you know, the thing is, again,
come correct.
The DM group will have a field day with you on that.
Yeah, you know what? And that's okay. Bring it on. The thing is,
so when he said the intermission, he means the fade to black that lasted 10 seconds. That was his favorite part of that episode. Precisely. Thank you, Dean. My God,
we were all mortified.
Unbelievable. Now, we can't fully blame Victor for the lack of unicorn in this one because Tanya gave it a clearance, but Victor gave this one a fucking compost. He needs to figure that out. Matt, Chad, and I gave it a fresh, and Twitter kind of pretty much agreed. 73.9% gave it fresh, and 13% gave it clearance, and another 13 gave it compost. So, Dean, what did you think of this one?
Oh God, this was the best episode of the season.
I know, right?
I mean, not just by me, but IMDb.
Yes,
it's got the highest rating out of all of them for the season. Yeah.
Absolutely, it was the best episode. I totally agree.
The best episode. It was the
of this season.
Yeah, of this season, it was the most unique of all of the seasons. This was the most. So, I mean, you never saw them all together, kind of doing a sleepover. This is something very new, and and them being very childlike. And who do you like?
Yeah,
I love that. All that stuff, and the stuff, kind of it took me back to being a teenager, like, oh, and doing all that same shit. So it was kind of it had a bit of nostalgia in it for those types of things, and it was kind of a one-off.
It was one-off, but it did have story in it, and it carried forward some plot lines. Like, I mean, Bonnie and Derry and stuff. Like it carried a few plot lines forward.
Yeah, and I love. I remember describing the whole episode as a big like Letterkenny warm hug. Like it felt very comforting, and I love the simplicity of it, and it hit home. I loved it. It was great.
Tiara?
I'm going to give it a fresh, but I think it's like on its last days before it goes clearance.
Really?
I enjoyed the episode a lot. It's definitely like in my top of them, but I do agree that it got a little slow and redundant after basically being the same scene over and over again. The commentary, the conversation, all of that was fantastic.
Yeah.
It just, visually wasn't as interesting as some of the others.
I was going to say the cuts that they did on it were were different than normal, because they would start in one place with one scene and then go to where it left off at the last scene and then come back and continue on. So it was very
well. They were definitely going for a specific mood, and I think they completely 100% achieved that mood.
Totally.
And I think this is where I think Victor was quite divided. Remember the whole scene with Rosie and Wayne and their banter. I know, Victor, you made some comments about how slow the pace of that banter was from what they normally do. But then Al and I were talking about that's the tone of the episode. Like that sort of set the mood. It was a mellow, it's nighttime, and they carried it on. So that actually, in my opinion, made it even stronger. So if they had done quick banters through that, it wouldn't have fit the episode. It would have been fun still, but it would have taken away. So I thought it was just they set a very good tone to the entire structure of that episode, and I it when it hit home for me.
Yeah,
and if that fits your narrative, that's fine.
Yeah, there it is. Well, fucking Victor. All right, Dean. So MVPs are Matt gave it to Wayne. I gave it to that Monopoly scene. I fucking loved that scene. It was so good. Victor gave it to the fucking blackout. What an idiot. Tanya gave it to Derry, and Chad gave it to Rosie. So Dean, who do you give the MVP to?
I give it to who everybody was going for. This probably my first time saying this. Bonnie McMurray.
Oh, so Bonnie McMurray.
Bonnie's got her options, and she's got her agency. She's going for what she wants, and good for her. I like the track that Bonnie's on. So yeah,
I agree.
All right, and Tiara. She's nodding. She's showing off. Victor, look, she can nod.
I was like, this whole we're talking about this episode. I'm trying to think like honestly, I keep coming back to my favorite parts of it were all skid related. So I'm gonna say that like the interaction between Roldy and Stewart would be my MVP for this episode.
Okay,
that's where we had the most farts, right?
There were farts too, but it was also just like the cuteness of Rold asking or trying to get Stewart to talk about who do you, right? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, Stewart only farted once, but he woke himself up and and he thought and Rold had to convince him that it was his fart. It's like, no, it's your fart. It smells like yours. And like, oh, you're right. It does smell like mine.
And honestly, the skid sleepover felt the most like an actual sleepover that I've been to, where you're basically just getting high and giggling and watching.
Oh, and they built a fort.
And they built a fort. They all laid on the ground. And
well done. All right. Moving on to episode 6, Breastaurant, and our buddy, the voice of God, Dennis, was our guest for that one. Here's a limerick for that.
Business at Modine's 3 is down, thanks to a new Breastaurant in town. DJ Sturt's on a mission, but fails the audition, and Bonnie helps Gail turn things around.
So for this one here, for some reason, we did a lot of talk about the elf on the shelf for this episode. So that probably explains the final rating for it. But here's some of that talk.
So the elf will get into the flower in the kitchen or start playing with the Barbies and having a pool party. And there's all of these very, very elaborate things that people come up with.
I get it, but you could do that with a rock.
I sense a marketing opportunity for Letterkenny. They should have a Shorzy elf where the face is hidden and it goes around fucking the Barbie's mothers.
Oh, that is not for children, not PG people.
Man. Anyway,
you better put a disclaimer.
Really? That's too much. Come on.
You better put a disclaimer at the beginning.
There's already an E on our podcast
for everyone.
Yes, for explicit.
Do you have something to show us on this Audible podcast?
Anyway, that one there is.
I thought that was the pre-show.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't the pre-show?
No,
I love that Tanya's like arguing the like credibility of that scene when like 2 episodes ago she's talking about how Barb died or how Barb went away. Like, let's just set context here.
Having the elf, the whole Shorzy thing.
Well, Tanya was alone on an island with this one. She's the only one that gave it a fresh. The rest of us gave it a clearance. And Twitter almost agreed. It was almost 50-50. It was 52.9 gave it fresh and 47.1 gave it a clearance. Tiara, what would you give this episode?
I'm going to give it a fresh. I liked the cleverness and the way that Bonnie and Gail definitely worked together, although it wasn't explicitly said. Right. And just you know, how the gang wanted to be loyal and like all the different things. I think that for me, like that was a very classic Letterkenny episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. Dean, what about you?
Fresh. Yeah. Anything that our boy Trevor writes.
I was going to say Trevor writes, and I'm kind of in love with him. So
there you go. Yeah, and a lot of kind of music related puns in this one here. So you know that had his name written.
Oh God, yeah, we went through all the perfect circle jerks.
Oh my God, I made him like go, okay, you win, which makes me happy. I don't even remember what it was. But
I think it was a perfect circle
jerks.
Yeah.
Was he on your podcast for that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Trevor's been on a couple of times. The magic of having a drunk queer human want to hang out with the high queer human has really.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Good.
Well, he joined us like out of the blue, like by surprise in our last Ag Hall social, not this one, but the previous one. And it was great. He was awesome. He had a lot of fun with that. Although at the beginning he didn't know that we were recording. So we had to let him know. And he seemed unsure of himself once he found out that we were recording, but anyway, he got over it quickly.
I mean, the last time he was on our show, he was like, he had come home from the clubs because it was like 3 a.m. where he was.
Oh, yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was over in somewhere in Europe.
Estonia.
Estonia. It was in Estonia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely down to chat online. Let's see here. Yeah. MVPs. Tanya gave it to Riley and Jonesy. So did Matt. I gave it to Dax and Ron. Victor gave it to Bonnie McMurray. And Dennis gave it to Dax and Ron. So Tiara, who do you give MVP to in this one?
Bonnie McMurray. I think that she totally like went to work for the other place to totally like somehow lure people back to Gales and like.
Yeah,
that's definitely what happened. Oh yeah,
same.
100% agree. And same for you, Bonnie. For you,
yep.
Dean.
Yep.
All right, excellent. And now final episode here. NDN NRG. Our guest for that one was the human palate cleanser, Steven. And here is the limerick for that one.
Tanis takes NDN NRG live, but then the bro dude reps arrive. Shorzy's spit sample slip cost the Eagles a ship, and they all need to learn to fucking drive.
In this one here, we talk about yet more plot points that can only be explained by the existence of a produce stand portal.
Why? Like,
and Tassie and Cassie called her at the party, so she must have been in Letterkenny, or she used the portal. Yeah,
portal again.
Everyone's got access to this goddamn portal.
But again, Anik, she left and she came in. She's like, I'm going to talk to you, and then she left, and then she came back again, still within the same party, and now and then she did her whole. I don't know. That was weird.
Maybe Wayne has one of those doorbell cams up over watching the portal. You know, because it's his coming and going. It's his portal. Right?
He's got a ring on the portal.
So he's got a ring on the portal.
Marie Fred is coming. Ding ding.
He got a phone
he got
call.
An alert
or an alert on his phone, and it showed Marie Fred coming out of the portal.
He's got a button in his pocket.
So just to explain, I don't know if we've ever talked about the Produce Stand portal with you guys, but there's a bunch of throughout the whole all 9 seasons. There's been these curious incidences where they're jumping over to Quebec or jumping down to Michigan, and we're trying to where the fuck in Ontario do they live? Because
going to the city,
right. But also like showing up behind the produce stand and just walking out in the middle of the city.
That's where
the portal exists.
Yeah. So the only way that could happen is if there's like an interdimensional portal behind the produce stand where you can go to Quebec or Michigan in the same day within the hour. And because
we've spent time mapping it out. I know I have kind of trying to isolate where we think, and it just nothing adds up.
No,
so the portal's the only explanation.
Yes,
geographically.
Yeah,
especially if you think about like at the end of season 8 when Katie's on her way to basically confront Dirks, and it takes her forever, but like she gets there right before everybody else does.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of.
They were all like, "Fuck this," and they were running through it.
That kind of makes me think that Letterkenny and Night Vale reside in the same universe.
I would believe that.
So
if you've not listened to Welcome to Night Vale, I highly recommend.
It sounds I don't think we've ever.
It's a long time podcast.
Yeah,
but
years
it's
ago,
really good.
And it's had multiple spinoffs, and it was the podcast that got me into listening to podcasts.
Oh, interesting. Cool. I'll have to check that out.
It's creepy and I love it. But don't fall asleep to it, because then when they play the news, you'll wake up.
Oh,
and now the news.
And just the geographical thing. Sorry, the geographical thing. So what is it? Dirksen, they're in Michigan, right? Is that where it was?
Yeah.
From Quebec, like the border, like Ottawa is, I know Ontario, but that's right at the border there, to Michigan is like 10 hours. So if you think about geography, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's the portal. It's a portal. That's it. Sorry, Dean, continue.
Oh, I was going to say, and welcome to Night Vale if you're watching that when they say, and now the news. So their news is just loud music.
Wow. Damn.
So
cool. I have to check that out.
It's weird. It's like Twilight Zone has become a community radio station.
The podcast is basically a fake community radio in this weird town where weird shit happens and you're not allowed, like, don't look at the dog park, don't make eye contact with the mayor.
The hooded, the mayor is a 5-headed dragon.
So it's very theater of the mind kind of. Yeah.
Very much so.
Very
nice. I love it. This was the only unicorn of the season for us. We all gave it a fresh. And interestingly, and I don't think I've ever seen this on Twitter, this is the first time where clearance was higher than fresh. So 42.9 gave it fresh, 52.4 gave it clearance, and 4.8 gave it compost. Weird. I don't think that's ever happened before. Yeah.
But if I recall, really when we were rating, we were all of us were fresh, but we weren't high fresh.
No, it was just barely fresh.
We were just giving it a fresh. And I don't remember the specifics, but we were all teetering, and there was a couple things about, okay,
I came in with a clearance, and you guys talked me up to a low fresh, and I think, Matt, you're the same way. I think Victor talked us all up to a fresh, which is weird.
Well, it's funny because this is the second highest rated on IMDb for the season.
Well, and I mean, if you look at ours, like, again, this is the only unicorn of the season. So for us in our podcast world, this would technically be the highest rated, even though I think Victor's just way out of line with Sleepover. But
I honestly, I would be interested once you watch season 10.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna say,
going from this to season 10 and then go back and reevaluate this episode.
Well, like I said, I got talked up to it. Go ahead.
When it came out, this was basically right before the pandemic. And you know, in all the past times, we'd had basically 2 seasons within, 6 months. And this was the first time that there was no follow-up. So we had this major cliffhanger with a bunch of little cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And I can understand people being upset by that, especially, if this is a little bit later, they're coming to it and they aren't used to the.
I think this whole season for me, especially watching it the first time back in at Christmas time last year, I was very underwhelmed by the entire season, but only rewatching it for the podcast this time did I appreciate the episodes way more. And I remember not liking this one at all. And now my opinion of it is a lot higher for sure. So having said that, Dean, what did you give this one?
Oh, so this is fresh. I don't think there was any of these that I did not like. I think I was also because in my opinion, 7 was not great. And so 8 was a little bit better. 9 was even better than 8 in my opinion.
Right.
And also, in my opinion, 10 is even better than 9.
Yeah, well, I've heard.
I would agree with that on most parts.
I've heard most people are really high on 10.
All right, take it down. By
Without talking about season 10.
I'm not spoiling season 10.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's kind of like when I told you about seasons 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, we're probably the strongest seasons at least at that point in time. And I would probably still say that's the case. But yeah, 10. I think they're doing better. They're since 7, I think they've consistently gotten better.
Yeah. All right.
And also, they probably changed some of 10 to fit how long it's been, and they closed up some threads that maybe would have been longer pulled if we'd had back-to-back seasons like normal.
Yeah, for sure. So Tiara, what would you give this one?
I'm gonna give it a low fresh.
Oh, okay.
I love any Tanis episode. Any episode with Tanis is gonna boost it up to fresh for me. That's like
nice.
Especially now when she posts like family photos, I'm like, I love you even more.
Yeah. Now she's like
pandemic, baby.
saying she looks forward to the kids' naps so she can have some time for herself. It's Tannis is such the mommy now.
That's real life.
On to MVPs here. Victor gave it to Shorzy, I think for the first time ever, gave Shorzy the MVP. Tanya gave it to the Tupac Shakur logo because that's Tanya. I gave it to Wayne and Derry.
It's Tupac.
Sorry, Matt gave it to Wayne and Derry, and I gave it to Wayne on the strength of that truck scene, which was great.
That's right.
Yeah, and Steven gave it to Shorzy. So, Dean, who would you give the MVP to?
I probably in this instance will give it to Coach.
Because
he's
learn
just
to fucking
learn how to fucking drive.
All right, yeah.
Even to the bro dude lady,
the bro dude rep, yeah. Just out of the blue.
Set your car right outside the. Learn how to fucking drive.
He sets her up in that one, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Tiara.
Anti-Tannis.
Of course. Yes.
Kind of saw that one coming.
Mm-hmm.
Auntie. I mean, it's no flicking the belt buckle, but
well, she of the Hickeys, right? I mean, holy.
Right.
All right, cool. Then we, our next episode is it's our Billy Buttery interview. I don't expect if you guys listen to that at all, but I just have a couple of clips to play from Billy's interview, which we had a lot of fun with. First of all, Victor, have you heard the Billy Buttery interview since you weren't able to?
No, I'm actually planning to listen to it tomorrow.
Shame on you, Victor. Come on.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Well, here's some teasers. So first we have Billy talking about the origins of some of their signature shots. Cool. And I'm thinking of some shots that recur a lot that a lot of people we've talked about many times on our own podcast. For example, on the back porch with the wood obstructing their face. It seems like that shot is breaking every single rule in the book. First of all, whose idea was it, and why?
Okay, we decided we tried to do a block the first scene on the back porch. We realized we either had to go really high or really low to shoot too flat. So I said, why don't I got it with me or Jacob, or we talked together. It's like, why don't we just put the bars across their faces and show their eyes like Kilroy? Like it'd be funny. We just cut their mouths off. So that sounds like a great idea. We keep repeating it, but it's a funny bit.
Yeah,
it does break every rule. Never see their mouths move. Most the actors, their mouths are hidden.
Well, I bet it comes in handy though if you ever have to kind of like cut in a different dialogue from a different scene. If
ADR, you totally could.
Yeah. Very good. Billy,
that's exactly what I was thinking, doing the ADR stuff.
Yeah.
You come in later and just loop all that stuff.
Oh, and he talks about why they cut off Dickens's head. I mean, I think at first it was kind of by accident, but then they liked it and they keep on doing it because he's so tall. He gave it a lot of great nuggets in that one.
We talked about the big barn shot with Wayne standing tall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He talks about how they love symmetry in a lot of their shots and stuff. So very cool episode. And then one last one here. He just talks about how he got the Letterkenny gig. Okay.
But he was there for the first, and he said, "Do you want to go to Sudbury do this little show called Letterkenny?" And I was not doing much. I was just doing some rigging, lighting on the Expanse and shit, wiring the sets for him. And I said, sure. So I went up north and met Jacob and Jared. And I said, day one, like this show was like really funny. Like this is going to go places. Like I'm going to retire on this show.
You saw the vision then.
Yeah.
Saw the vision. I've only missed one day because I'm part of one day because I went in sick. So that was one day out of 72 episodes we've shot.
Wow.
That's fair.
All right. Yeah. So again, amazing. If you haven't heard the interview, we highly recommend it. Billy gave us a bunch of gold, and I really enjoyed talking about his career before Letterkenny. Like being on Forever Night blew me away because that was a show I remember vividly. Dean and Tiara, you might not have known because it was a Canadian vampire cop show.
It sounds so familiar, and I can't remember.
That sounds like something Tiara would have watched.
Totally.
Yeah. So
and also I have family in Canada, so I've watched a lot of Canadian.
So from the early 90s, is an 800-year-old vampire who's a cop. And so Billy, that was the first, I think, major TV show that he worked on as a gaffer. And I think he even had an acting role in that one as well.
Yeah, I'd want to talk to him about The Expanse.
Well, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I just started watching
both of your faces when that came up. Yeah.
Oh, he's like, it's funny because he's got such a long resume of stuff, and half of it isn't even on IMDb. When I was doing research for this, like I got everything off IMDb, but during our interview, he kept on mentioning other stuff. It's like, why isn't that on your IMDb? I totally would have that on.
Such
like he
a
worked,
Canadian thing.
He worked on Star Trek.
We talked about that with Who did we talk to? Ron? Dex.
I don't remember. Well, I
James,
think it was
right? James.
James, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no,
And he was like, yeah, that Canadian actors wished that they could have the kind of recognition that American actors
the
do.
representation.
With being able to, like, we talked about how we weren't able to find much about him beforehand because, you know, apparently Canadians value their privacy or something. I don't know.
I don't know if it's, I mean,
Not very American of them.
if you're in the industry, you're not caring about privacy. You want to be known for the stuff
Right.
you're doing, but I just don't think it's set up that way for them to get that notoriety.
No, it's not.
Unfortunately. All right, cool. So let's move on to
Wait.
go ahead.
Before we leave this, I need a little info here. So I'm a space buff. I love I've watched probably all the movies about space and all that. I couldn't get through the first episode of Expanse.
Really? You gotta go.
So what's going on? Why is this show so loved when I couldn't get through the first episode?
Because it's very well written. It's got when you start out. Yeah.
Hold on. So I'm like you. I need to be caught right from the beginning. And literally when we started watching it, he was super excited about it. And I was staring at my phone half the time. It was probably about episode 4 where I was like, wait a second. What just happened? Okay, that's interesting. And then, like, because they take so long to connect the stories at the beginning of the series.
The books are enormous.
Yes.
And so when you start off, you're talking about you're getting introduced to the belt, the Kuiper belt. You're getting introduced to Mars and Earth and all these different factions that are all over the place, along with this murder mystery that's built in. So it's just all these things. And then it starts gathering focus. And like, I think it was when Al and I were talking last night, I'm like, I think you were saying you're up to episode 6. I said, that's really where it's taken off.
When the different kind of disparate parts start kind of merging into the main storyline.
It took a while.
It's high quality, Victor, storytelling, and regardless of sci-fi, it's really good so far. I'm enjoying it. But you're right. There's one part that kind of grabbed me going, oh, I got to watch this.
That's the thing about like Mr. Robot. It's a very slow show, but from the very first episode, it grabs you. Like it's intriguing from like the very first moment you get introduced to that show, and then you just there's a reward for staying with it. Like. In each episode.
So the part with Mr. Robot though is really your focus is on one person, maybe two. I mean, so
this is an ensemble cast.
Yeah, this is a huge ensemble cast that spans
where there's no one main character. Like the actor that has the most name recognition is gone in the first couple episodes, and
there are no name actors all over this. Yeah, well, you know who's in it? Oma from Kim's Convenience. She's in the first few. She plays a Martian captain on a ship that gets blown up. But anyway,
we also have who's from the Res. What's her name? Who plays she's one of the native girls.
The one who plays
Kara G.
Kara G. That's what it. And let's see, Tanis was on it.
The guy who played if you watched Orphan Black, the guy who played the black guy who's a cop in The Expanse played a cop in Orphan Black.
Canadian television. How I love that you have the same 20 characters.
Anyway, it's good quality storytelling, Victor. And if you're into sci-fi, stick with it. And if not, I mean,
and it's and the science that they put into it is really well done.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, like once I got into it, I was upset when we ran out of episodes. And I am not that kind of person. Like I don't watch TV like that.
Okay, well, you know what? You sold me. I'll give it another go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to season rating. Overall season rating for season 9. Fresh, clearance, or compost. Matt, we'll start with you since you were at the top.
Yeah. Before I reveal my rating, I think you know what it is, but I want to comment on something I commented at the end of NDN NRG, I think as well, is what was different about the season. And even Dean, you talked about it. I think you were spot on early on when we started this. 1 and 2 were good. 3, 4, 5, 3 or 4 especially were amazing. And then they kind of hit this lull. 6 was okay. 7, 8 7 especially went down. But I think what happened there was they really tried to move away from these sort of solo episodes that went into more of a storytelling mode where they tried to do a full season where they're telling a continuous story. We didn't love it. It had some good moments, but it didn't jibe with us like some of the traditional OG Letterkenny stuff did. And then 8, they got closer to it. And then 9 went back to its roots. So every episode was kind of independent of itself. There was small story moments that carried over, but for the most part, you could watch any one of those by themselves and you wouldn't really have missed much. So I think that's even when we got to the last episode and Victor's talking about how all those cliffhangers didn't really resonate well because there wasn't a story. But it's all that to say, this is what we loved about Letterkenny when it started, is the fact that there was so much of it going on. It changed every episode. There were minor tidbits. Forget this cliffhanger stuff. They went back to the roots. It's a fresh. I loved season 9. There were some moments I didn't love, but that's always been the show. There's always some highs and lows. There's always those concept episodes. But in this season, I think their concept episode, which I would give them the sleepover one, it blew me away. It was one of my favorite episode, I think, of the season. So yeah, they're back to the roots. And if you're telling me already that 10 is even better, I can't wait. and I'm really excited because I think they've been, I don't know if they're listening to everyone who's watching and the feedback. I don't know, maybe, but they're back to what they do great. They really found their stride again through 9. And I'm really, really excited to really dive into 10. But
because of how, in my opinion, how well 10 was, and that I know that they did 10 and 11 back to back, it gives me a really positive idea of how 11's going to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. So yeah, it was a fresh season for sure.
All right. So it's my turn. I'll say this, and I said this many times during the season. This season was the season of the cold opens. Like in terms of, I mean, my favorite cold open is still, and probably will always be, Attention's Paid. But other than that, numbers 3 through 5 were probably all in season 9. Like they came back with some really great cold opens. The whistling, the Katie's rap. There's so many really, really solid cold opens. The rest of the season, I gotta say, I'm looking through the different ratings that I gave, like all the other episodes, and if I were to average it out, I got to give it a clearance. But that's okay, because if I'd gone by my impression from last season or from last year when I first watched it, I probably would have given this a compost, because I was really unimpressed with the season last year. But again, watching it a second time for the podcast, I realized, no, wait a minute, there's some really great episodes here, and I just want to give it room to grow. I think overall it's a really high clearance, but I think it's still a clearance for me. Victor?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's kind of a simple one. Looking at the math, I think I give it a clearance just because there was more clearances than freshes. But I think even the clearances were fun, except for the one low point in the middle of the season there. I think that it was.
You're a low point, Victor. You're a low point.
Yeah. I think. Hey, you know what? You need at least one judge on this show that kind of brings the truth.
But, are you the Simon Cowell of the show?
I'm the Simon of the show. Yeah. I even have the blue spatula. But I.
Because Simon does what? I don't understand that. Go on.
That's his ex.
Maybe it's Chef Ram. Maybe it's Ramsey that's got the spatula. I don't know. But
it's just a clearance for me, dog.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Little Randy.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay,
Very nice.
clearance. Tan?
So I have a question. My question was Bonnie and Derry. We saw them in the sleepover, but then nothing else happened from it. Or did I miss it?
They got lost in the black hole that you saw in the middle of that episode.
Did I miss it?
Nothing's happened.
It went into the portal.
Yeah, it went into the portal.
So it truly was like a one-off.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know what happens in 10, but so far.
But nothing was referenced. Like it just kind of disappears, that whole
It got dropped.
thing.
Yeah. But they've done that before.
Teasy.
Yeah.
All right. So looking at my ratings and everything, I think I finally get what this show's about. So for the most part, I have given it a fresh consistently, other than
you
I
were
think
really high on
one
this season.
clear.
Yeah.
I think I got it. I think I finally figured it out. And yeah, I based on that, I will give the season a fresh.
Okay. In a second, I'm going to be asking you for an MVP for this season. So
I know. I was
start
ready.
working on that.
I am. I'm connecting my circles and dots.
Tiara, what would you give this season overall?
Overall, I would say a fresh. I think it was better than the previous couple seasons, I feel like there were a few too many threads left at the end for my own personal taste, but otherwise, like the jokes mostly hit. The cold opens were amazing, and I liked most of the storylines. So I'd say fresh.
Okay, and Dean.
So I think I said each episode was fresh. So I'm going to give the season a compost.
All right, Dean. Yes, I know. I'm just trying to get some kind of a, will he, won't he going here? But of course, yes, it's a fresh. All right.
It's all compost. I hate this show. I'm out.
So Matt, if you were to give an MVP to one character this season, who would it be?
Oh my God, it's so hard.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she did.
Hopefully.
You like the poster too?
Honestly, I'm gonna go to the top on this one. Thinking back really quickly on some of the big moments, I'm gonna give it to Wayne. He, from the Kids with Problems episodes, his performance in that, to the truck scene, which was one of my favorite ones. I thought his delivery was epic. Yeah. The sleepover, there's just a lot of really strong moments with him where I think he stepped a little outside of his norm and delivered really strong. So I'm going to give it to the main man, Wayne.
All right. I'll give Wayne a runner-up because I agree with you. I think he did a lot of heavy lifting in this season, more so than usual. But we've talked about this before. We've always wished for meteor storylines for Gale and Dickens and Glenn. Sadly, we still haven't gotten that for Glenn. We finally got a love interest for Gale, and it's Dickens. So two of our favorites, and they got some love on in this season. So you know what? I'm giving it to Gale and Dickens. I'm giving it to Gickens or Dickens or Dale. I don't know.
I like Dale.
Jail.
Jim.
So I think I'm going to give it to that ship. What about you, Victor?
Oh man, I think I have to give it to Bonnie McMurray. She single-handedly saved Modine's, and in the lowest point of the show, she was the brightest light. So
Sleepover, okay,
yeah.
We get it, Victor. You didn't like Sleepover.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I did like Bonnie McMurray,
Yes.
so I'll give it to her.
Well, okay, well done, Dan.
It's so hard. Like it really, really is. And I know you gave
She's going for the two-cock Shakur logo again.
I know you gave me fair warning, but it's still really hard to choose. You guys have made some valid points that Wayne did do a lot on this season. Like I chose Riley and Jonesy twice in you did. But I don't think that they were strong in all of the season. It was just, they had some really bright moments. Rosie kind of really stepped up this season too. She, her in bed during this, even though the sleepover wasn't one of my favorites, her lines about, Gale ripping shots, and she was just mesmerized by it and didn't want to say anything and just kind of sat there.
What was the line that was increasingly captivated or something like that? It was the line of the episode was that one, yeah.
But I didn't love her during the whole Kids with Problems. I found that kind of odd that she was ripping Wayne's shirt open.
Oh, come on.
But it was an odd kind of behavior for it was a weird kind of, I don't know. I felt that kind of felt icky. It felt icky. So I can't really do that one either. So gosh, it's
get there faster.
I know, right? I guess it would be Wayne.
Wayne. All right.
Wow. Right.
A long way to land on the main character.
Summit Mount What's Your Point anytime.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Tiara, do you have a quicker answer for us?
Yeah. I haven't been paying attention y'all because I've been trying to figure it out myself.
It's hard, isn't it?
It really is. And you're talking yes, exactly. I know.
Yeah.
All of those things.
Again.
I think I am going to give it to Gale.
Oh.
I think that the stories that she was involved in this season were some of the best of the season. I don't think she was in every episode, but all of the episodes with Gale I loved. And I loved the burgeoning relationship, and I loved the underhandedness of going to the Breastaurant and like, you know, the talking with Squirrely Dan's girlfriend, and yeah, just pretty much anything with Gail in it. It was spot on for me this season. So
great.
She's the only one that didn't disappoint.
There you go, Gail. All right, and Dean.
I'm with Victor. Bonnie McMurray is her trajectory has been great, and she's getting, you know, she's not just the Bonnie McMurray anymore. She's actually she's actually a person.
Well, in Sleepover, she was kind of treated like the Bonnie McMurray again, which is probably why I liked it less.
But
her response to that, I think, was really good.
Yes, it was perfect.
So it wasn't like she lost her agency. It's just like these dumb guys who were trying to fucking.
Yeah, she had nothing to do with it. It was them.
Right.
Yeah. Very good.
Even when Glenn was giving away the farm on the girth,
and she's shaming him.
That's right.
I feel like ever since Three Wise Men from the Christmas episode, she's gotten more and more to do. I think she, to Dean's point, she's gotten more and more agency. So it's gotten
giving her legs.
Yeah, for sure.
She's running.
Yep. All right. The next part here is a late ad here, because when we announced that you guys were coming on, I believe it was our buddy Adrian said, "Can we please do Fuck Fight FERDA on with these guys on?" And I'm like, well,
all your regular listeners who don't listen to us are like, "What the?"
Yeah. Well, Tanya just perked up like, "What? What are you talking about?
What am I fucking?"
So you've heard of Fuck, Marry, Kill, right? Like you've heard of that? No.
Maybe recap me.
When you we're going to take a character and you're going to say whether you'd fuck them, fight them, or FERDA them, or be friends with them.
Be their best friend.
Their buddies.
Have the back.
Friend. Okay.
So this is something that Dean and Tiara do on How Are You Now? So you guys, I mean, we don't have to go through the whole cast, but if you want to give just a few examples,
we'll get the main. So yeah,
I'll give you the reins and go ahead.
He's got to do the thing.
Yes. So yeah, we always do the. Fuck Fight FERDA. Welcome to this edition of Fuck Fight FERDA for the Produce Stand Podcast. So the way this works is this, like Alan said, this is like Fuck, Marry, Kill, but we don't want to marry anybody, and we're not going to kill anybody. Nobody dies in Letterkenny. So
except for Uncle Eddie.
But he was in Florida, so playing crokinole. Anyway, so the way this works is we give you a character. So like we always start off with Wayne. And you and we'll go this is the season. Would you fuck him? Would you fight him? Or would you just be his buddy?
Based specifically
on the season.
Yeah. What we usually do is based specifically on that episode. Like if they were a douchebag in that episode, you might want to actually fight them instead of fuck them. But every other one, you might want to fuck them.
And I will tell you what, a lot of people will go the fight route with Wayne just to get his respect. So
yeah, well, let me start with Wayne, because I think I said this on your podcast before. It's like you only gain Wayne's respect if you don't drop like a sack of potatoes on the first shot, which I believe I would. So I would not fight him. I would FERDA to Wayne. So there you go. That would be my first.
Yeah,
I would FERDA to Wayne.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'd hard agree. I know better, and it's gonna be sad. So I just got to stay in the FERDA zone for sure.
All right, Victor, what you got?
Well, I think with my condition, I'd go for the fight because, like, it can't get any worse, and he might actually put my neck
is
back
really stiff. So if you led with the head,
you're back.
It's all about balance.
That's right.
So Tanya.
Yes. I think, I'm going to go with the friend on that one.
Oh, come on.
I think I would.
Tell us how you really feel.
Safe answer.
Safe answer. No, I think I would, because he's not like he's an awkward sort of buddy. And I'm not entirely sure I could jump in bed with that, because like he likes slow turning page novel readers, and I'm kind of not that girl. So I'm not.
Wait till you get to Gaylor. Let's see her answer.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna friend him. I think he's my kind of guy.
You've disappointed
in a friend kind of way. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Awesome. I'm so sorry.
Awesome just wants Kiso to step on her throat.
Yeah.
So
Awesome wouldn't care what Kiso did to her as long as Kiso was doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So then we go with Miss Katie.
Okay. I mean, she's always a fuck. I mean, she's Katie. She's a fuck.
All right.
Simple as that.
People say.
Yeah.
Maddie.
Tanya looks a little
I know,
like she's surprised. I'm like, have you been watching the show?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a fuck, especially after that. Honestly, and I think I'm talking about it. When she came out and did that rap, I had never been more attracted to her than that scene.
Same.
And, it was unreal. So,
You know what? For me, I will say that in season 10, I think really, because I was never, Katie's okay for me, but she's
not my type.
She's not. Yeah, definitely. She's not my type.
She's too skinny.
Yeah. But this upcoming season, I was like, all right, Katie. All right. So
how are you now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Figure it out. Let's figure it out. Victor, what's your?
So who here knows of the video game that Katie is starring in?
I know about it, but I haven't played video games, but I know about it.
So it's a video game, but it's also a movie, and so it kind of goes both ways. So it's really a movie that you get a chance to interact with, and you get to choose, like, at certain points what the actor should do in that moment.
Oh boy!
So they've actually filmed all of these different possibilities. So it's like a branching movie.
Yeah.
And then it has. Yeah, I think the issue that a lot of folks have is that regardless of what path you choose, the endings are all very similar. So it's like, yes, you get to interact with it, but do you really get to a chance to really influence the outcome?
Right.
But so I haven't actually gone through it, but I only discovered it a few days ago, and so that's totally on my to-do list. But anyway, she on that in that movie, she just looks more hot than she's ever looked on Letterkenny. Like they really, I think,
interesting.
Sorry, is this a video game or a movie?
It's both. Yes.
Yes.
Matt's very confused.
It's a Vidya movie.
It's like you started telling a story about one part of it and then shifted to the other part.
It's not a movie you can kind of steal, because then you can't interact with it, right? So you have to purchase it. You have to purchase it like a video game, and so it watches like a movie and it plays like a game. Yeah. So what I can't tell you is that how often you get an opportunity to interact with it, like, because too much is too annoying,
right?
And not enough is like, okay,
it's just.
So am I really involved here? Are you doing good on your own there, or did you need anything from me? Can I go get a snack? But so what I would say is that if you look at the IMDb reviews, I think there's people that love it and others that don't love it so much. I'd say don't let that. If you're a fan of her as an actor, just go. There's nothing to lose.
So you're going to fight her?
So in this case, what I would do, if we're talking about her as a Letterkenny character in almost any episode, I would want to be friends with her because she's a little too loose for my goose, to be honest. And I'm not kind of into this, sloppy seconds kind of thing. So I would really want to.
That's a gentleman, Victor.
I would want to be her friend and maybe, influence her on a more positive path. But, she's
a more positive path.
Tell me what is negative about her path.
She's, you know what? There's a very, very kind side to her, but then there's also seems to be a bit of a cruel side to her.
She is a user. She is a user.
She does have a little streak in her.
She's a bit of a user.
We'll agree with that.
That's amazing. You sound like a buddy of mine who, when he got married, went out for his bachelor party to a Rippers here in Toronto, and his best man paid for him to go have a few private dances. And fast forward about 30 minutes, he comes out. I'm like, how was it? He's like, it was good. We talked. What the fuck do you mean you talked? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? This is my buddy. And I'm like, what do you mean you talked? He's like, yeah. I'm like, did she give you a dance? He's like, no, I told her to stop and we talked. And I was actually trying to understand why she did this. And
I helped her do her taxes, and she's going to quit now.
And get out of this business.
Got her a job.
I don't think that's the point. I'm like, did you pay her? He's like, oh, yeah, we already paid her.
I love your friend. I want to know your friend, because I have totally done the same thing. My friends bought me a dance at a strip strip club, Chippendales, and they bought. It was my birthday, and these guys were like pulling girls up on stage, and they were piggyback riding around the bar and stuff. Anyways, they bring me in, and the man was beautiful, like he totally beautiful body.
Job.
And I'm like, let's sit and talk. Like he was a super interesting person, and I did the exact same thing. I love your friend because I've known no one with the same story as me, and I love that.
So what we do, because Portland.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we always came.
Portland per capita has the most number of strip clubs in the world.
This is the only fact I know about Portland.
There are still operating strip clubs that were literally the first strip clubs in the United States.
We actually go out and went back when we used to smoke. I mean, Tiara smokes weed, but we would go out and hang out with the strippers and chat with them.
I've made very good friends with a few, and we would bond over tattoos mostly.
There you go.
So, like, I would go to strip clubs and I would enjoy myself, but I would have more fun sitting outside smoking a cigarette with the girl that was just up on stage because I wanted to ask her about her red rum tattoo and then show her that I have the twins from The Shining, and then we're going to talk for 3 hours and she's next time up. So.
And one of Al's close friends that he grew up with, they share the same brain, I swear. He's like a brother to me, but he frequently had girlfriends that were strippers. So it was fascinating to chat and hear. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a hooter shooter girl. Cause like, I love that. I'm like, you do what? And I'm like, and how much do you get? Like, it was crazy amount of money. And I'm like, oh my God, if I could just do that like one night a month, even, I'm like, that would be lovely.
I mean,
I actually knew quite a few dancers who lived in Seattle who would come down to Portland on the weekends.
Yeah.
And they would make thousands of dollars in the weekend. And I was like,
but yeah, if y'all want to come,
cursed with this metabolism.
Whenever y'all have time and you want to come down, the one that we like to go to on Sunday nights.
My favorite. Is it Sunday? I thought it was Mondays.
No, it's Sunday nights because we couldn't do Sunday nights because we had to go to work on Mondays.
Right.
So
That's right.
Monday at the Rippers.
They do stripperoke.
Stripperoke.
So you get up there and you sing your karaoke song and they dance around you.
That's amazing. I love it.
Amazing.
I love it.
And they really love you if you sing a song that like will get them more tips. like I sang Money, That's What I Want once, and the girls were like, all of the girls came out and were like, yeah, you're doing a song for us.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I feel like Victor derailed Fight FERDA.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I don't even know what happened.
Victor's going to be
fucking fighting or FERDA.
No, I'm FERDA. I'm FERDA with her all the way.
What about you, Tan? Katie?
So Katie, I loved her energy. I loved her fight this season. Like that rap was like, it was hot. It really was. And I haven't gone that way before, but like I would kind of be afraid to be a friend of hers because I think she would judge me very quickly and realize who I was. But give it a fuck for a night. Like I think she would teach me a few things and I would have a new story.
Your DM group cred is restored. Okay, Dean, maybe just one more before we call it.
All right, let's see who would be a good one that we should throw in there.
I don't know.
How about
Ginger?
How about Jim Dickens?
I thought about that.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be this good guy.
See, Dickens.
Tickets.
I mean, I know that I have for a fact said on a number of episodes that I would climb him like a telephone pole.
Yes. Tiara is firmly in the fuck side. I guess
especially now.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna fuck him, but I'm not gonna fight him either. The he's got the reach advantage. So both arm and penis. So I guess I'm FERDAing Jim Dickens. Yeah. I'm FERDAing him.
So I feel like, and this is where I thought this was going to go, and I would have had to answer from the other perspective, but I'm going to go this route anyways. I feel like I need to fight him, especially under the current setting, because I agree. Gail was strong this season. And had you said Gail, I probably would have said fuck her because she seems like Dickens is taking her in. He adores the shit out of her.
Well, she's taking him in, really. But
but either way, it's a thing.
He brought her flowers.
He is smitten.
But you know what I mean. Either way,
he's in deep smit.
Yeah, he's smitten kitten.
Well, with Dickens though, he don't come to blows with a boogie, but he will if it's a boot scooting boogie.
And you wouldn't naturally think those two, but she's doing something that he's into, and so I feel like the answer to Gail would be fuck. Therefore, right now, I would need to fight Dickens to get to Gail.
Oh, there you go.
Or it's what's a song? It's not gay if it's a three-way.
See, I was just
That's got to be a country song.
Whatever.
No, it's actually a song by Lonely Island.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay. Those guys are great.
Nice.
So yeah, fight them.
All right then, Victor.
Oh man, I wouldn't fuck him. That would just be difficult logistically, I think.
Everybody's the same height when they're laying down.
Are they?
I can't lay down right now. And so I think I would want to. Unless if we're fighting, if the fight was like a negotiation and you're trying to kind of negotiate for the best deal, I think that would be fun because I do like to.
He likes to dicker.
I like to dicker for sure.
I don't think you'd be able to keep up though.
Well, that's okay, and that's why I think it would be fun for us. He's nothing in real life like his character, so I'm talking about Dickens, the character. I think it would be fun to go to bazaars with him and flea markets and barter and Dickon for good deals. I think it would be fun to do activity to do that, and also as we're going from place to place in his pickup truck, listening to some good old country music with the man.
Oh, I'd have to fight him.
The boot scooting boogie.
If he pulls out the boogies, I gotta fight him.
It has to be old country.
Oh man,
he's listening to like.
Right. That's the only good country.
He's like Brooks and Dunn is not doing it.
No. Well, that's not even modern. Like I can't even.
No, Brooks and Dunn were actually pretty good. But,
are they still? Okay. I stopped listening when Martina McBride.
But it's not Chet Atkins
through stuff 20 years ago.
Right. Not Chet Atkins. It's not Johnny Cash. It's not Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
It's not Porter Wagner. So.
But I think Dickens would be into that, and then I think we'd have a good time listening to some good old country music and bartering for some good.
He probably likes some Buck Owens.
I bet he would like. Yeah, I bet he would be more like outlaw country.
Maybe honky tonk for sure.
Honky tonk.
Tanya, what's your go with?
I hear he has a mighty cock, so I'm gonna have to jump on and hear him auction off the orgasms. I think because I heard that kind of giving one, give it two, give it three. I'm like, oh my god, well,
yeah.
So
if you hear one, you got to hear two, and if you hear two, you got to stick around for three.
Come on, how could you not want to fuck him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go, for sure. Like, come on, there is no other option. There's
amazing.
no other.
That one just writes itself.
So that's Fuck Fight FERDA.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, guys. That was great. All right.
By the way, and before you cut out real quick, I'm going to make a reference show real quick to Disputed. Now, what I want all of y'all to do, and anybody else who's listening that has the ability to connect, has good internet, good decent sound at least, go to disputedpod.com/apply and apply on there to be an advocate for your favorite fictional characters. Matt's been, you had you guys.
Fun.
So,
Foghorn Leghorn.
We did Daffy and Donald.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Foghorn versus who? Yeah.
Chicken Little.
Elmer Fudd.
Guy is fun.
And we've got, but as you know, we've got Wayne versus Shoresy coming up, and I said, and this is because Jack Reacher is a really one of my favorite characters, badass guy,
and it helps that they're about to come out.
And they're about to come out in February with a new series about Jack Reacher. Now, Jack Reacher he's been played in the movies.
We're not talking about Tom Cruise.
By Tom Cruise. Now, Jack Reacher in the books is 6'5", 250 pounds. Nothing like Tom Cruise. So they're making a series that's coming out on Amazon in February called Reacher. And they got a guy who's the right size. And he's just he's just brutal. So there are, and this going to Reacher. So Reacher versus Wayne, and Reacher versus Wayne versus Amos from The Expanse.
Right.
So I think those would be some really good scraps. So
I really like the Amos one from Expanse. Like I mentioned that when we were watching the Expanse, I was like, I would like to see him fight Wayne.
Yeah, because I brought that up
and I
when
think they would be best friends.
When we had Jess Salguero on.
Yes.
I asked her.
She's on it.
Because she was in the season 5, I think 4 or 5 of The Expanse, and was basically Amos's girlfriend in that episode, in that season. And so we asked her who would win in a fight between Wayne and Amos. She goes, "Oh man, I can't even say." That's
interesting. Well, I mean, Wayne isn't that tall though. I mean, Kiso, he's not super tall, right? No, how tall is he?
He's all 5'11".
Yeah. So, I mean, I know the guy who's playing Reacher, he's the guy from Titans. He's a big guy. So
he is a big guy.
He would be much bigger than Kiso. So that'll be,
Is he Hawk from Titans?
Yeah. Hawk from Titans. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he, but you got to think Wayne also fought the guy with the flat top.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big they are.
Yeah.
As long as they're following the rules of a gentlemanly fight in Wayne's eyes, then it could be even across the board, no matter if he's 6 inches taller or not.
Yeah. So anyway, disputedpod.com/apply.
Yeah. So, I mean, all we have left to do here is just kind of final comments, and we'll go in order here. So, Matt.
Yeah, honestly, so good. Tiara, I'm so glad you joined us. I know we've been trying to coax you out here for a long time. We love Dean, but, we're happy to have you.
Well, it's definitely easier now that I will not be working anytime soon. So I'll just have school and unpacking this house to deal with.
Well, I'm glad your move's gone well, both of you, and you guys are settled in, hopefully, to Portland. Your new setup looks good. I can't wait to see the red curtain back, as I said. And I mean, guys, this is always so much fun. I'm always blown away by the community and the spread on this whole show and your shows and everything connected around it and our listeners. It's just this is, and I know I think you called me a softie on the egg haul there, Victor, but it's okay.
That was me.
Yeah, because I love it. I'm just blown away by this show and our podcast.
Oh yeah.
And everyone connected in any way, shape, or form to what we do and the fun we have every week. And I'm just thankful. And I can't wait to kick off season 10. So thank you, everyone.
Yes. I echo everything you said. Tiara, I mean, great to have you on finally. And thank you for joining the DM group. Dean, you're more than welcome.
It's overwhelming and I can't follow, but
it is so cool. Overwhelming.
Tanya can attest. She just joined.
What the heck?
Yeah, she's like, I don't know if I want to be
here. Word of advice.
I look away for 5 minutes and there's 150 messages.
Yeah. Word of advice. We've got a guy.
It's like a job.
Trace, if you need to know, if you need a quick catch up, just call for a recap and Trace will take care of you.
I like that.
And it's very well written too. Trace is actually king. So Dean, if you want to join the fun,
I have a Discord.
I know.
It's on Twitter.
I know.
I have a Discord
and Reddit.
I have 5 Twitters. I have 3 or 4 Facebooks, 3 or 4 TikToks. I don't.
I had a feeling
I would if I had time.
I knew there was a reason you hadn't joined before. It wasn't because I didn't invite you, but I knew you probably had way more to do.
I'm just the talent. He's the one who actually does all the work.
But so Tiara can just tell you.
I'm the pretty one.
Yeah, Tiara can just tell you when something fun happens, or if you're ever mentioned, she can just say, "Hey, they're talking shit about you." Anyway, thanks, guys. I mean,
again?
Dean, season 9, and this is your 9th appearance because you've been amazing at sharing your time and coming on this rival podcast.
Oh my God, he loves you guys.
9 Timers Club.
Yeah, you're the 9. You're the only one, man. You and then Dennis is a few podcasts behind.
I'm like Chevy Chase over here.
Yeah,
only not an ass.
And I mean, you're becoming a podcasting mogul.
Steve Martin, then.
Mogul with the PodScure network. So I mean, I listen to all your shows. They're great, and you're doing a great job.
I don't even listen to all my shows.
I don't.
Well, I pick and choose, but I've listened to every one of your shows, like at least 1 or 2 episodes. So great job.
He's aware of all of your shows.
I'm not even aware of all of my shows.
Tiara, this was fun, and I hope you come back for the season 10 recap. And if we're gonna do a recap trade, a crossover, I mean, we can figure something out. Yeah,
I'd love all that.
Yeah, it's amazing. So thanks. And man, I can't wait. I can't wait for season 10. I can't wait for next week to start doing this again and getting going. Because this is it. This is exciting. Oh, and one little piece of news. It's kind of a teaser. I won't say who it is yet, but we do have another guest lined up for later in season 10 from Letterkenny cast member. So I'm really excited. I won't say who it is yet, but it'll be a lot of fun when you find out who it is. Maybe not somebody you might expect. So I'll just leave it at that. So Victor.
Not much else to say, Tiara. Thanks for joining us for the first time, and hopefully, this will be the first of the next 9 for you as well. So,
man, can you imagine if they went 9 more seasons? Holy shit!
Hey, you know what? There's no reason for them to stop at this point.
Well, Kiso said he'll do it as long as they let him. So,
and Billy said that he was going to retire there. So.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
So it's quite possible. Who knows? There might be like 3 other character runoffs from that one, or spin-offs, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Tennis.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes.
That would be
Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
Reservation Dogs.
Reservation Dogs. Yes.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched that show,
so good.
That's a stellar show.
It's great.
Can't wait for another season of that one. That's for sure.
If you guys know any native people who are content creators who might want to do a podcast, we would love to do a podcast about that show.
Oh.
But we want to have people actually connected to.
Yeah,
like I grew up believing that I was native, but that thanks to ancestry, we know for a fact that that's not true anymore. So,
I wonder. I don't know any podcasters that are indigenous.
That's my issue too. There's not a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
if you guys have any listeners, we've already tried our list.
But the Shorzy send in the samples for you.
So you know what? That's a good point. Like if we put our listenership together, we might be able to find somebody. So to anyone listening to this podcast right now, if you're indigenous and you would like to do a Reservation Dogs podcast, get a hold of Dean and or Tiara. They've got a network, so that they can hook you up. Even if you've never done a podcast before, if you have a mic, they'll do the rest, and they'll do a great job.
And if you're willing to get new stuff, Dean will tell you all you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. So that sounds great. Like
Dean's just sitting there smiling. Of course I will.
Yeah, you just need a mic and an opinion. That's it.
Exactly. Sorry, Victor. Was that
unless you can yell really loud?
Yeah.
Very good.
You're good, Dan?
You know what, Tiara, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet you. I love your energy. You just like pumped this whole thing right up. I loved it. Dean, as always, pleasure to see you again. And thank you so much to both of you, especially during your move. I'm sure you still have boxes everywhere, and it was probably a mad dash to get everything back up and running. So we really appreciate
the only thing he's been doing.
Yeah.
Well, because I've been at work. So I work in this office as well as podcast. So I had to get everything set up. And while I was in here,
busy.
Where are the dogs?
I tossed them out.
Kind of surprised nobody has scratched on the door. I'm hoping
because that they're
laying down very quietly on the couch with the TV on, but we'll see.
Nice.
All right, Tiara, do you have anything?
I guess pay attention to PodScure. What is it? PodScure.net.
PodScure.com is
PodScure.com. All of the podcasts that we either do or produce can be found there. And so season 10 of Letterkenny and then season 4 of the Boondocks will be starting soon.
Are you guys going to do the new series when it starts?
Yes, that is the plan.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the plan.
Nice.
So yeah, if you want to find out about what it's like being a Black person living in America right now and compare it to 15 years ago, and how it was pretty much exactly the same, only terrible.
Yeah.
Check out the Boondocks Podcast. If you want to hear about other podcasts, check out PodScure for the different podcasts that they interview.
And Damon and I are going to be starting on. We're going to be doing bracketed tournaments on Disputed.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to do
Disputed is so much fun.
we're planning on doing a whole list of scrappers. So you're going to have your Waynes, your Shorzy, your Squirrely Dans, your Jack Reacher, all these guys who are as scrappers, and we're going to take them all the way through. We're doing wizards. God, I can't. So we've been talking about a lot of stuff, and we may even have the wizards fight the scrappers at some point.
Why not? Awesome. And Dean, the final comments, and also I know you've got a million Twitter ads that you want to share. Go for it. Check out. I've neglected to talk about our buddies who are also part of the PodScure network, Armbar Audio. So if you're a fan of wrestling, especially indie wrestling, these guys are it. These guys, I mean, they have interviews with a lot of the majors in indie wrestling. They do watch-alongs with everybody, and so they're constantly out there. I mean, and they're working. They are constantly getting messages out, tweeting. They're working with their people. So
check them out. PodScure, Don and I are going to be getting back together. I don't know if it's I think it's this Sunday, or is it next Sunday? This coming Sunday, maybe. I don't know. One of the two.
Which day is New Year's?
Yes.
Tomorrow.
It's the 1st.
Oh, tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Yeah, Saturday's.
Okay.
So yeah, Don and I are going to get back at PodScuring things, and I've already started getting my audio together for the upcoming Boondocks. I will be doing the same thing for How Are You Now? And what else? Like I said, Disputed. Damon and I are just going to keep having fun with that, because that's always a hoot. I mean, they're not long episodes, but they're lots of good smack talk, lots of fun. I mean, it's an opinion show really about who's better. I mean, the last one we did, which was really good, was we ended with Sarah Connor versus Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, that was well fought.
It came down to one vote.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself for voting finally, because I kept forgetting. And I don't think the one I voted for
that was a really fun episode. And it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, guys, I'm going to play us off here with a song from season 9, Lola, Stars and Stripes from the Stills. Let this one marinate for a second. Speaking of which, my episode of Demon Does should be coming out in a couple of weeks. So looking forward to having that out. And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we begin our recap and review of season 10. We're very excited. We start with episode 1, King of Suckers, with first-time guest panelist Danielle Marchand. So check that out next week. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now, use a promo code PRODUCESTAND for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on Apple Podcasts or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at ProduceStandPod. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to drink and hang out with the rest of the DM group, D-Gens, at the after party. So on behalf of Tiara, Dean, Victor, Matt, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week. Oh yeah, and Happy New Year.